This may very well be HRC Honda's secret sauce. Let's look at the starting lineup, and we're going to look at lever placement. We've got Nate Thrasher, poor SOB, couldn't take it home, was very close, lost by the smallest margin, I believe, ever. We'll talk about that at a later time, different video. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification icon. He's got one finger, and he's going to have two fingers for the clutch lever, which is pretty standard. A lot of riders end up going to one finger after the first corner because this is just meant for ease of use so that you can actually feel that pulse of the bike kind of trying to yank, and then boom, you can let go of it. You've had riders, some guys use all fingers and they can easily go out there. That's kind of like a trick for concrete, is to use all fingers. But really, most riders use one finger. I use my middle finger on the clutch, and my front brake is just one finger. Kevin Windham was a guy that used two fingers, but I digress. The important part is look at the placement. It is set up for ease of use, not really max leverage, but just sort of max feel that you could have from having the levers extended out fairly as far as they can go. But let's look at Honda now. Look at that. There's only enough room for one finger on there. That's like set up for max leverage for the front brake. It's not really meant for feel. It is more meant for just an on-off switch. And if we look at Hunter, his setup is exactly the same, but maybe his clutch lever is a little bit farther in too, to where it's set up for more of max leverage than it is for initial feel, where we look at other riders, how much more access he has to the lever, where Hunter doesn't have that much and really doesn't have any when it comes to the front brake. That is incredibly interesting, and it's the first I've seen of it, I believe, almost ever. He doesn't have any other room for two fingers on there, and the clutch lever is set up to potentially just having room for just two fingers. That is really interesting. We're going to stick with the theme of Hunter Lawrence and see if you can check what he did on the Dragonback. If you missed it, we'll rewind it for you. So what he's doing is he's missing the last whoop on the Dragonback, where you got Mosman here. He's going to launch off the last one, and Hunter is going to launch off the second to last one and just miss it, completely miss it. So let's slow it down. Just right over it, just inches by, and it's just that much faster. Incredible. The only other rider I saw do that was Sexton, maybe once in the main event, but no other 250 did that. We'll watch it again. Now see if you can spot it. Fabulous bike control. Scary as hell. Moving on to the champ, Cooper Webb was able to get it done partially, I believe, because of his consistency through the sand. So watch his line, and then I'll break it down. Very smooth, very fast. And what is he doing? Well, he's not bouncing around a lot. He's going double, triple, landing hard, having to land on the gas, because if you land in sand not on the gas, it's going to be like hitting the front brake and you're going to go over the bars because it's going to just stop you. It's almost like landing in a bunch of mud. Then he goes double, and he's out of there. Let's move on to the whoops. There's a few different lines that I want to show you all that happened over the night program or in the main events and even in some of the heat races. But who better than to demonstrate than the fastest man alive right now? Yes, you heard me. Chase Sexton is the fastest man alive. Is he the most consistent? No. But arguably over Hurlings or anybody, I will argue that Chase Sexton right now is the fastest motherfucker around. So watch what he does at the corner before the whoops, tripling in. You're going to watch him seat bounce hard. He's got his foot underneath the shift lever, and watch. Boom. There he goes. Clicks up. I believe that is probably maybe fourth gear. And he's just going to roll into the whoops and get gone. Da, 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 da. And towards the later part of the main event, he was in the middle line, which was a V. So you've got a nice V shape, and I might go over this during a crash analysis video, but riders stay down there because the whoops are smaller, because they're cut down. However, if you get out of that line, the rear end can hit something, and then you're kind of at mercy of whatever forces were moving you forward at that time. Were you leaning one direction or the other direction? What is the angle of the dangle of the hole that you're hitting? It's going to rebound the opposite direction, and now you're hanging on to a bucking Bronco, which possibly took him down. Not to mention there's maybe potentially some racecraft involved with him not being as confident as far as racing forward when you got a guy breathing down your neck. And for shits and giggles, let's watch how to go through the whoops. Yes, no, I'm not going to be on the dirt bike, so we're going to have to settle for a 2009 Suzuki. That's a joke here. Ken Roczen, I don't know what's up with the dude. I know he's got a different setup as far as suspension than the other riders on the team. Whatever. We can make up all the excuses we want for Kenny. This is one of the reasons why he was slower and why he got passed by Barcia in the heat race. I will have to say that Kenny, looking over and knowing who Barcia is and potentially how he can put you in a tight position, he does. He's a little bit aggressive and he pushes Barcia wide. He doesn't go through the typical lines that guys cut down into to seat bounce triple. He takes Barcia wide. So I give him major props for that, for making sure that he's not going to just get railed on the outside. But watch what Kenny does moving in here. He shifts up just like Sexton did, but he then slams on his brakes. Why does he slam on his brakes? He slams on his brakes because he's not going to blitz the whoops. He's going to jump through them. And he's got to get off that starter bump because the first whoop into a whoop section is much smaller so that riders can kind of and get on top of them. Watch what I mean in real time. He's going to hit the brakes and Barcia's just going to go right around him. Boom. Right around him. So watch it happen. He's going to slow down so he can roll and then start jumping. And Barcia just goes, oh, thanks, Kenny. Goes right around him. We'll watch that one more time in real time. Oh, just hits the brakes. Damn it, Kenny. Damn it, Kenny. And since I showed you the wrong way to go through it, I might as well show you the right way to go through with it. And then who we have demonstrating now is the show pony himself, Hayden Deegan. Love him or hate him, the kid is fun to watch. And he's going to be at the top of the search engines, whatever, because of just his popularity. Why do I think he's fun to watch? Because he's very busy on the motorcycle. He's very flashy. And usually being flashy on the motorcycles, you're manhandling it. You're being aggressive with it. You're trying to whip it. You're pushing it somewhere. And he's a smaller rider, but he's strong and he's stocky. But usually flash comes with the cost of endurance because you're moving around a lot. However, the kid demonstrated how to go through the whoops right here. So let's watch it in real time and I'll break it down. Boom. Fast, fast, fast. As opposed to tripling in and hitting the brakes, you're just going to double. Then you're going to double into that starter bump where Kenny slowed down. Hayden is doubling it. So then now he can just go flow right into a triple, 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 triple. Well done, young man. Well done. Look forward to watching how the series progresses after that heat race win. And I know you guys love these breakdowns, but I'm going to end with a simple technique, and I'm going to tell you why it's so impressive. So, we saw the majority of the 450 riders doing this, not all of the 250 guys. Most of the 250 guys were rolling, then doubling. And what do I mean? So, watch what AC's doing right here. He's got his front wheel high, that whole boner air, but he's just blipping the throttle to just jump to the third. So, it's like a triple, but with just a small little wheel tap. So, when they jump, they're not trying to seat bounce and clear something. They're literally pushing that back end down so that it hits the lip of something, and then they're blipping off of it so that they can clear the obstacle. And why it is scary in a section like this, because you mess up, there's another obstacles afterwards. If you're wanting to practice something like this, you want to make sure that you build a wheel tap jump with nothing after it so that you can gain the confidence in doing yourself. And usually what you could do is you could just build a smaller starter bump into a larger bump and then not even have a landing bump. So you could just wheel tap off of it, and there's no repercussions whatsoever if you're not going to make it, right? If you start kind of endoing it or what, and then you can slowly build on from there. That's honestly part of the reasons I feel like building whoops, starting with 3 or 4 big ones as you progressively get better if you have the means to do so. So let's continue watching what these riders are doing. So we've got Kenny in the bottom corner. He's going to seat bounce, wheel tap, and then same thing with Tomac. We'll watch it in real time here. And you saw Tomac get a little squirrely there with that rear end. And that's why it's difficult, because if you do something like that, you've got another obstacle to come through. But these riders in the suspension is able to handle it, and they move on like nothing freaking happened. But that is it for the technique video from this week. Make sure you like and subscribe. A lot of you guys have been joining. I'm excited because people have been getting behind this channel and they like the content that it is producing. So make sure you stick around. Got 2 live shows at the end of the week, Thursday at noon, and then Friday at noon as well, noon Pacific time, where we talk about the race coming up. We have a few guests on board. It is a fun time. This is Johnny Evan Hopper. Till next time. Bra-da-da-da-da-da.